Hey everybody, my name is Bill Cole. I'm with MoXi Mortgage and I'm here with Carl. Hey Carl, how you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great. I'm Carl Cotarelli, also with MoXi Global Mortgage. How you doing, Bill?
Hanging in there, hanging in there. I kind of wanted to talk a little bit today. We talk about some short sales and stuff in Mexico, not short sales, but short closes or soft closes as they call it. And I've been through it a little bit. Have you ever uh, done it on your own? Had a
You
soft
know
close?
that I've had clients that have gotten involved in that. And there's lot of lot of issues that come about it. Like one client actually did a soft close, came in with cash. She got into the purchasing the property. They had issues later on with the builder, with lawsuits with the state, and now she can't even live in her property. She's stuck with the property that she paid, and it's been going for about a year. So stuff like that is where a lot of stuff that I see and hear come about from doing those soft closes, which I don't know what the percentages of what's how many soft closes are being done, but stuff like that happens.
Yeah, I kind of went through it myself. I actually wasn't doing alone. It was before I met, came on board with MoXi, and I was doing a lower loan limit. I was, like 250 purchase, but I went into Cabo, my wife and I, and she loved it. And we decided we were going to go ahead and pull the trigger and buy ourselves a condo. We found the perfect condo, and what we came about is the condo was about 95% done. And we didn't like any, some of the finishes and stuff we wanted them to change. So we negotiated the deal where they were going to do some of the finishes and redo some of the countertops and things, and that was great. The condo regime, which is basically, I guess, the regime is more of their government documents, saying it's okay for them to sell the condo, wasn't done yet. And our agent said, well, it's supposed to be done in about 2 months. So that would be good. We could get ready to close, and it would probably take them about a month or so to do the remodel on the property. So we waited, and a couple months went by. The regime still wasn't done, and we kept talking to our agent. And a few more months went by, and we're into November now, and we started this thing like in March, and they still did not have the regime done. Finally, by the end of November, they got the condo regime done. Well, during that time, they hadn't even worked on doing any of the repairs. So the agent kept trying to get me to do a soft close, where basically they wanted me to sign off everything, give them 90% of the money, and they would finish the stuff later. Well, I was already into this thing like 7 months longer than they were supposed to have this thing done. And I said, absolutely not. I'm not doing that. And it got to the point where the agent told me that she wasn't making enough money on this transaction and wasn't going to help me out any further. So to make a long story short, I didn't soft close them. I I held their feet to the fire. They finally got the stuff done, and a year later, they finally got it done, so I could close my transaction. I just can't imagine what our customers would feel like if they didn't have the background that I have. I've been a lender in the States and a real estate broker since 1996. So even though I didn't know a whole lot about Mexico, I still had a little bit of idea of how this thing should go down. So I think it's great that MoXi, with their legal teams and things, and us as their mortgage advisors, can help them through some of these issues they may be dealing with.
It's pretty crazy to hear, Bill. I mean, you hear a lot of stories like that happen where they almost they basically armstring you, where you're stuck and you have to come in, and if you're able to figure out or wiggle the way out of it, then you might be able to figure out a solution. But in some of those cases, if they're telling you that you have to do that, from a legal standpoint, you don't really have any representation, no help. It's nice thing about being with MoXi. At least you have a team that's there at your best interest, making sure everything kind of goes smoothly. And we're not going to close a soft close. We're just not going to do that.
Yeah, I like that, and there's other issues that can happen in Mexico. Luckily, as Mexico moves into the 21st century, things are getting better. But having a legal team on their side, a company such as MoXi to help them through the process of getting a loan and making sure that whatever they buy they can truly own. It's not a Hito property, none of their issues. We just had one recently where the client had gone into contract, and We started ordering title work and found out that the person who signed the contract, the seller, didn't own the property. She actually was making payments to somebody else who truly owned the property. So we caught that. My client put up $100,000, and luckily we were able to, get this thing straightened out for her. So it's always great to have somebody on your side. I just can't imagine the general public being able to do this on their own and not have something happen.
Yeah, it's crazy. You don't realize how common that is with situations like that. And having a team, again, like I state, being there by your side, being able to help and answer, and going through some of those issues that's when people buy property in Mexico, they don't really realize some of those things can come up. And with experience and having that ability to kind of foresee some of the issues to protect our client, and it's a great way to have that protection on your side.
All the buyers down there, a lot of American citizens. There's some Canadians, but we work just with our Americans. Will really appreciate the fact that we can keep them from getting into a situation. I always tease some of my clients that don't jump over a dime to pick up a penny. Some of them want to try to do this on their own, and that's great, but make sure they have legal representation, whether they're using MoXi or trying to pay cash. Just make sure that they're want to make sure our clients understand they need to have that representation. Some of the properties down there, Ejido properties, was basically Mexican land grant, and unless the titles were checked out, they could end up losing that property, and we don't want that happening. But what a beautiful country to buy properties in down there. I mean, beachfront, you can get beachfront properties for less than $1 million. You can get beach view properties for $300,000-$400,000. Here in the States, like we're here in California, what would that cost them? $4 to $6 million or more to have something like that. It's just a great opportunity for them to get down there and buy a property. With financing available, instead of having to pay cash. There's some clients that could well pay cash, but this opportunity now, especially with Airbnb, they might be able to buy 2 properties. What a great opportunity. What do you think there, Carl?
I agree. There's so much opportunity in Mexico to buy, and being able to leverage. A lot of people don't realize that there is financing, and MoXi Global is a great way of being able to do that and leverage that. It gives them, like you say, another opportunity to even buy more property, especially from an Airbnb side of it. So it not only they have the protection and that team inside in terms of being able to help them on the legal side and make the closing a little bit more easier for them, because a lot of times they go in and they don't have anyone there to kind of really represent them and tell them what to watch out for or what to look for. So it's nice to have that.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, what area do you work in, Carl? Do you hang around Cabo, or I know we all kind of have our little special places we like to work, but we can do loans all through Mexico. But where's your specialty?
I really like Puerto Vallarta. I don't know. It's for me. I like the area. I like the tropical side of it. Cabo's nice too. It's just a completely different area. But PV is something where I kind of gravitate to. And but you're right. We all can do loans pretty much in Mexico, as long as it's we're able to have the legal title transfer. What about you? What's your favorite places to?
I own in Cabo, so I really like the Cabo area. The main thing is I can get there in like 2 hours. I can hop on a plane here in LA and be in Cabo in a couple hours. I also really love that area over in Quintana Roo. I'm a scuba diver, so I've spent many hours underwater in Cozumel. So I love that whole area. What's cool about Mexico is there's so much diversity, different areas. Cabo's more of that desert region, and then you can get over into the Cozumel area. It's right on the water, but it's kind of jungle on the water. Then you got the interior of Mexico, it's the mountains. It's just a awesome country to explore, and there's so many areas of Mexico I haven't even been to yet that I just can't. Being able to lend there, every time I see somebody show me a house that they want to buy in a different area, I say, oh, I got to go there. It's just awesome. So that's kind of my point of it.
Yeah, you see so many people retiring now, going into Mexico and buying and living there, and just kind of getting away from all the hoopla that's in the States. And just with all the different things that you can do, just to, it's so inexpensive to live, and there's so many great things that, the places to go, places to see. Whether you're fishing, or whether you're relaxing, or whether you're just, wanting to get away from the hustle and bustle, it's a great place to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to retire down there. That's why when I came on board with MoXi, I'm thinking, what a great way to retire and not retire. You know, I can go down to Mexico and sit down there and be with with everybody I want to work with, and uh, do my job and still live the dream in paradise. So that's uh, that's my idea. I'm getting probably in the next 3-4 years, I'm hoping to be full time down there. I've got my temporary residency already, and my RFC, so I'm ready to go. And a lot of my clients we talk to, and because I've been through it, it's kind of nice because I can tell them, what I've been through and how to circumvent the problems. It's always good to you know, know somebody who's already been through it and help you so you don't make the same mistakes that other people have made when trying to buy in Mexico.
People don't realize the differences of just living in a kind of a dream area, where you're just relaxing, peaceful. Your mind, your whole body and spirit changes when you're in that type of environment. It you know once someone makes that decision and move forward and do that, I think they realize how great it is. And and getting a loan, we're selling dreams. We're selling like happiness in terms of getting in terms of buying their homes that they've always wanted to live and be in.
The hardest thing I've had to get used to down there is what I call the manana effect. Mexico is so it's
Yeah,
so laid back, but that is
yeah.
totally different than what it is here in the States. You try to get somebody to come fix something. Oh yeah, I'll be there tomorrow. Well, what tomorrow? I mean, other than that, the people are so kind and generous down there. I can't tell you, just walking the streets of Cabo. Uh, I've walked by some homes and people are out on their porch step eating tamales, and they invite me in. They don't even know who I am. It's like, oh, senor, hey, try tamales. And it's fantastic. I love the people, love the culture. There's a few things we Americans have to get used to, and that one of them is the manana effect. Manana's not tomorrow. Manana's maybe someday, but that's okay. Once you understand that, then you can cover your bases, to get it done. But anyhow, yeah, I can't wait to retire down there. And all our clients that are calling us, I think they have the same dream we do, and that's what we're here to do, is help them live that dream.
And what about, Bill? When you have people, say, "Hey, what is it? Is it safe to live there? Do you feel comfortable? You're scared? What are some of the things that you come across with people, and ask questions like that to you?"
Yeah, I'll tell you a little story. When the first time I took my wife down there, I didn't know what she was going to think of Mexico. I really didn't. I was a little concerned that she was going to feel unsafe. And, this was my shot to, it's always been my dream, to be able to retire in Mexico. And I've been going down there since 1978. I saw Cabo when it was all dirt roads and a little fishing village with some broken down pangas, sitting on the beach. And now we have this, great tourist destination down there. But so I took my wife down there, and amazing. She picked right up on the culture. She felt safe. And that same trip, we decided we were going to buy in Mexico. So it didn't take long. You know, you, you stay out of the rough areas. You don't get involved with stuff you shouldn't, and it's perfectly safe. To be honest with you, I feel safer walking down the streets of Cabo San Lucas than I do some of the streets here in Orange County, California. So yeah, it's just I have no problems with it. Uh, yeah, it's as far as I'm concerned, it's just as safe as here in California.
What about like questions from clients? The fees, the pricing. They're a little bit higher than than what I see in the States. Can you talk a little bit more about that, and some of the issues that you might come across with people have their expectation of what they think, comparing it to the rates in the States versus rates in buying in Mexico.
Yeah, no, I get that, because I'm also a lender here in the States, and we hear that from Americans, but we're all spoiled rotten. We've got the number one economy in the world, obviously the safest for investors to invest in properties here in the United States. 100 years or so of data, knowing what clients are going to perform, what properties are going to be able to be resold in case there's a default on the loan. And we don't have that stuff in Mexico. And a lot of the money for financing these properties in Mexico are coming from the United States. So obviously there's a little bit more risk involved with buying in Mexico. So yeah, rates are a little bit higher. You typically see that 2 to 3% spread difference between what they are in the States and what they are in Mexico. But one thing I can point out, over the last several years, we're seeing anywhere from a 12 to 18% appreciation in Mexico on properties. I actually posted a post that I got from, I think it was the Mexico Daily News, and they were talking about that, where areas like Cabo, Tulum, La Paz, Mexico City, all the big tourist areas were 16 to 18% appreciation over the last 2 years, and it appears that this next year is going to be the same or higher. And even in some of the poorer areas of Mexico, it was still over 12%. So yeah, you're going to pay a little bit higher interest rate, but look at all the equity you're going to build in. I did some breakdowns just to see, because I had some clients, and I showed them the numbers. I said, look, if you buy now, and let's say you pay 10 or 11% interest rate, okay, and you're buying the property at, let's say, 500,000, and I did the calculations with the acquisition prices and the new prices, and showed them how much money they were going to make, versus if they waited a couple of years in anticipation that rates might drop. The cost was outrageous. It was still, if you waited 2 years because of the cost of the new home you're going to buy, it was costing them over $100,000 more money just to buy that, just to try to save a point or two on the interest rate. So, and I do that with all my clients. I can sit down and pencil it out and show them, here's what it's worth today. Here's what the rates, here's what your payments are going to look like. If you wait, here's what it's going to look like. And it always costs them thousands and thousands of dollars more to wait. So, why not live the dream now? Let's get them out there and get them going.
Oh, I agree with you. And then the other advantage that you have, and where I think we're the only ones that do it, is we offer a 1098 at the end of the year, which people don't realize how much of a benefit that actually has if they're looking to use that as a write-off.
Yeah, absolutely. And because of the treaty between the United States and Mexico, there's no double taxation. So if they're earning money on that rental income in Mexico, they're not going to pay it twice back here in the States. And these are things they can talk to their accountant about, because we're not accountants, but this is what we've been shown. So it's a great opportunity, again, to look at the value you're going to buy, the lifestyle you can live, the Airbnb to help somebody pay it, the write-offs you've got back here in the States. Yeah, it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, it's a big benefit. That's having that, on top of it. It's knowing you can do that is it's a big plus. Well, Bill, do you have any more questions that you have on your end?
No, I think that's great. And if our clients have any questions, they can jump in and call MoXi and get a hold of any of us at any time. We'll be more than happy just to chat with them, answer any of their questions, and hopefully earn their business and get them living the dream like we are.
Living the dream. That's what I hear.
All right. Thanks, Carl. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, Bill. I appreciate it. It's great talking to you.
Okay. Bye.